Today we're going to be learning some Reish Hamachim Musaf test, which is going to be dealing with the halachas of lighting Shabbos candles. We actually started the sif yesterday. Today we're going to continue from where we left off, and we're going to dive into it a little bit deeper. Shulchan Aruch begins by saying, "Hamadlichim is avos habayis v'oichlim b'chaser." Someone who's going to be lighting in a corner of his house, and he's going to be eating in the courtyard, aka his yard. So the idea is that he's going to be lighting his Shabbos candles inside of his house, but he's going to be eating in his backyard. If the candles aren't going to be long enough that they're going to light until night, this is considered a bracha in vain. So as we already saw these Mishnah Berurahs yesterday, this is referring to in a case of you're in great pain in your house, there's a lot of bugs in your house, there's flies or something else in the house, and therefore you can't eat there. But if that wasn't so, then you should certainly eat in the place of where your candle is going to be. The Mishnah Berurah and Mem discussed yesterday, and we learned this yesterday, that it's implied from this that if you're going to eat in a house, even though the candles will not light until they will not remain lit, remain aflame until nighttime, that would be enough, and it's not considered a bracha, but a bracha in vain, even though it would still be day, because you're still getting pleasure and happiness at the time when you were eating from the candles. It's a mitzvah and a mucha. It's a preferable mitzvah to make candles that are long enough that they could remain lit until night, even though that you want to eat when it's still day. So preferably candles should last until night. If they didn't and you were eating around them beforehand in your house, you would still fulfill your obligation. But preferably they should last until night, as opposed to the Mishnah Berurah over here in Lamed, which we learned a few sessions ago, which is that if you were eating out of your house, your candles need to be long enough that when you come back home afterwards, that they're going to still remain aflame. And if they weren't, it would in fact be a bracha vatal, a bracha in vain, according to Derech HaChaim, quoted by the Mishnah Berurah over here. This is obviously referring to you didn't get pleasure from them beforehand, aka before you went out for your Suda to eat your meal. The Mishnah Berurah Mem Aleph discusses how. Okay, fine. So that is basically this sif over here, relatively straightforward.
Wait,
And
what's
yeah,
what's the earliest you can get pleasure from them?
well, we discussed it should preferably be dark outside. And if it's not dark, you could close the window shade so that it will be darker in the room. But if there's electricity there, you're not really going to be getting pleasure from it. So it's really not so simple. So, there are different discussions
Yeah, but anytime after
about that.
Shkia or no?
Yeah, after Shkia, it could be after Seitz is better. So,
But there's a big difference.
yeah, it seems like they seem to say after Seitz, and then they only come on that it would be permissible if you close the window and everything. Close the window shades, and it would be dark in the room. But if not, then it wouldn't be so simple.
Did we see that there's a Mishnah that said about eating bread after tzeis? We saw that? Or...
Yeah, eating bread after Seitz, that's in Hilchos Kiddush. That's in Hilchos Kiddush.
Because he doesn't say after shki, he says after tzeis.
That's right. That's what I would assume. Pesach Chubos comes along and he says, those people that are lighting candles in their house or where they are staying. And this is exactly what you just said, David. And and before it's dark, they're going out to eat their meal, the Shabbos Suda in another place. And when they return, candles aren't lit. It's a bracha levatala. Bracha in vain. Rather, you should be careful to get pleasure from the candles once it gets dark.
Did you have a neighbor come and look at them?
I sit corrected. He says over here you don't need to wait until Seitzah Chavim, rather as long as it's dark in the house. Oh, no, that's what I said. It was dark in the house. AK, there's no electricity. And even if it was totally pitch dark, it could even be before sunset. So
It's usually not completely dark, but
that's
what about having a
deal.
neighbor come?
Nowadays, he says that we have electricity. You should be careful about this, aka to try to wait till after Seitzah Chavim, or to make sure that there's enough oil to last until when you get back home.
What about having a neighbor coming and looking at them?
Few minutes, you get pleasure. What?
A neighbor looking at them?
No, well, it's a discussion of other people are getting pleasure also. Maybe that could work, yeah. They go in your house. Footnote 268, he says it's possible that if you had in mind to return, this is actually very important, but it's possible that if you had in mind to return when the candles were still lit and then you didn't return because of whatever, you had an extenuating circumstance and whatever it was, a random person came, you haven't seen in a while and you want to stay longer there, that's not considered a bracha in vain. And therefore, that's fine because you were going to be home on time. This is similar to if you washed your hands, then got preoccupied with something else, and even though you said a bracha, it would not be a bracha in vain. We already saw this quoted in the name of the Meiri. Here it is quoted in the name of the Ritva, Nechulin, Kovav. However, there could be a difference because when you wash your hands, that's a bracha, that's an independent bracha that you're saying of Alim Tilasadayim. Conversely, in our case over here, you're not getting any pleasure from the actual candle over here. You're not getting any pleasure at all. So there could be a difference over here, but nevertheless, we find regarding brachas on pleasures that if you had an extenuating circumstance after the bracha and you didn't taste anything, it's not a bracha in vain. So then, so too over here, he says the page, we don't have enough room to write about this. It's such a lengthy topic.
What's your time between eating something, the bracha and eating something?
You're supposed to do it immediately after.
I know, but let's say somebody doesn't.
What's the case?
You have a student who's trying to be a wise guy.
Yeah, okay, so is he talking after?
Nope.
Okay, so then the bracha, I'm saying, is he bringing it closer to his mouth? What's he doing? Is he making faces in between? Is he
Just delay a game.
delay of game? Okay, so you might have to. Might only have a second and a half, and then you need to make a
I
new
think
one.
it's like a
Close to the
Shabbos
Dibur.
or type of day,
Right, right. Unless he's in the act of bringing it closer to his mouth, or else it's not going to be good.
But I thought, okay.
Yep. So, and then he says on this line, David's already on top of his game today. He says this isn't specifically talking about that what? That you yourself are getting pleasure from it. Anyone could get pleasure from it. So then that will be fine. That will not be a bracha in vain. So this past Shabbos, when we stayed in Lakewood for the Shalom Zacher, for my brother-in-law, so we slept at one house, ate at a different place. So we lit at the house where we slept, and they were having a meal there right next to the family that hosted us. So that was fine because they got pleasure from it. And that's the story over here. Nowadays, it's
Wait,
correct
what
that you
type of
should-
pleasure did they get? I didn't follow that. They got pleasure. They used the light.
Yeah, because where they lit, they also lit their own. It's their house, and they ate right there. So they got pleasure from what they lit and what we lit also. It added Tosefes Or.
Oh, I see. Oh, so you just added, you put it right next to theirs. I got it.
That's
Okay.
right. Well, actually, they put it next to ours.
Oh,
I said, "Could we light here?" They said, "Sure," and then they took it out. They didn't have it ready to roll. So, yeah.
so you kind of like grabbed part of their mitzvah or something, it sounds like.
No, definitely not.
You like you put your thing in first, it sounds like.
No, they had theirs that was all set up and everything. And I asked the host, could we light here? She said, sure. And then one of the sons set it up for us.
Oh, very nice.
Two extra things to light. So
Very nice.
we actually ended up going back before the Shalom Zacher started. It was only 5 houses away to get some pleasure from it.
Yeah, you have to
I went back to try kind of do that, but they were still having their Suda. So I felt like awkward, kind of intruding, so to say. So, I mean, we needed to come back anyways for anything. But I figured in myself, I had this in the back of my mind. They're there, they're getting pleasure. So it's fine. So then you just see the relevance of this stuff. You really do.
Right. So what
Yeah.
you're saying is when you came back, it was like awkward to go in front of it, so you weren't able to go in, like in front of the candles.
Yeah, I could have, but in the middle of the
It would have been weird. Yeah, I see what you're
they were
saying.
all talking to each other. It's family like 8 or something, however many it was. 9, I
I
don't know.
understand.
And
Yeah,
we
understood.
went up. We had to. I don't remember. Maybe we put one of the kids to sleep, and they were there, so something like that.
Very nice. Very
But they
nice.
were getting pleasure from it. So,
Yeah,
but
they were
look,
getting pleasure, yeah.
nowadays he says it again. It's correct that you should light the electricity immediately before you're going to light the Shabbos candles. Have in mind the bracha on the Shabbos candles is going to cover the electricity. Old news. How many times we're going to learn about this, and then you're going to benefit that even if the candles also extinguished or the oil, the wicks, you still have the electricity, and therefore it wouldn't be considered a bracha in vain. Good chap.
blackout, and you're really messed up.
You're saying if there's a blackout and also the nair that you lit went out. Okay, yeah. So look, that's going to come back to Sif Yud, which is going to be in the next Sif, which we're going to be learning about Hanacha Isa Mitzvah, Hadlaka Isa Mitzvah. We're going to be learning about that in depth. That's why I don't want to start the next Sif, because I don't want to rush it. This is the Sif of all Sif Yud. Sif Hey and Sif Yud, those are the best of the Sif. Those are fire. And therefore, we'll cover that when we get to Roman Rush. We're going to start Hanukkah. Okay, next. Just talking about, let's say,
Okay, fine. It could still be that Tekal Kavanash, and not Shnei
yeah, this is what this is saying is like this. If you have a Shabbos Suda that is catered, it's in a hall, a type of a catering hall over there. The women need to light. Well, he says over here, in the hall where they eat. However, many do light in the house or in a place where they're going to sleep, and they should try to fulfill that which we said earlier. Okay, so this also you have to cheshbon. Most times, look, I'll be honest, we're a little intense about this. You know, in general, what we do is we light where we sleep. There are some that discuss lighting where you eat. I think it's pretty clear from Mishnah Berurah, you light where you sleep, and that's basically what we should do. And either way, whatever you do, you should be doing with the whole electricity trick, or if you're gonna light where you get pleasure from it trick. But we light where we sleep. That's what we do. Yeah. Good. This next thing is okay. We already saw this yesterday, exactly on what to do over here regarding the regarding why we light nowadays. So this is basically Sif Tes, and Sif Yud is packed. I went through the whole Sif over Shabbos. It's jammed. It's jammed. So 9:35. Okay, so we're gonna stop here with this one.